Yeah, that's exactly right.
Testing, testing, testing. Testing. Good evening, everybody. Our February 12th, 2024 meeting is called to order. We'll have invocation by yours truly, and then Pledge of Allegiance by Councilwoman Washington Eli. Did I get it right? Washington Eli, okay. All right, let us stand for prayer and the pledge. Dear God, we thank you for this day that we are afforded. We are careful not to take it for granted. We pray that our lives will be an example of goodwill toward men and women, that we will be focused upon doing your will for our lives and also doing what's right by the citizens of this city. Do guide us. Do keep us. We're reminded of Scripture that everything must be done decently and in order. Even if we happen to disagree or not be on the same page, let it be done in a way that is in order. We thank you for your presence now. It's in your Son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's do prayer. The pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we go any further, please take a moment to silence your cell phones during this meeting. The City Council encourages public participation. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. However, this time limit may be reduced if there are numerous speakers on a particular topic. To ensure efficient proceedings, all persons addressing the City Council shall state their name and shall speak in a civil and courteous manner. Speakers shall address the agenda topic only to which they are speaking on and shall not be repetitive. Members of the audience, please respect the rights of others and do not create noise or other disturbances so as to disrupt or disturb persons who are addressing the City Council, council members who are speaking, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of the meeting. Again, we thank you for adhering to those instructions. Now we have on the agenda the reading and approval of the minutes from our most recent meeting, which was January 22nd, 2024.
Mayor, I make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of January 22nd, 2024, and that they be adopted.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to adopt them as they have been recorded. Any comment about this particular motion? Okay, seeing none. Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Next, we have on the agenda, as we've been doing every month, typically the first meeting of the month, recognizing employees of the month. And this month is the fire department, so Chief Wynn has selected someone, and his name is Brent Dupree. I think there's a picture that we have that we took last week. Yeah, just click it. Okay. Now, Chief Wynn, we know that Mr. Brent Dupree is not here, and you can give his rank, title, and all of that, and just tell us a little bit about him. But we do appreciate his service and dedication to the great citizens of our city.
Brent is a driver for the City of Natchitoches Fire Department. He's been with us for several years. He's a very deserving individual. He always does his job very happily. So it's nice when you have an employee that acts, he's got a smile on his face all the time when he's doing his work, and you can depend on him to carry it out. And he's a very humble individual. He couldn't be here tonight, but I wish he could have been here tonight so we could have thanked him personally.
Right, yeah. And as Chief Wynn said, you have some individuals who just want to do their job and not really get recognition. So As he stated, Mr. Dupree is one of those individuals, but we did want to recognize him and just say that we appreciate anybody in their respective role, the work that they do. A lot of it goes unnoticed, but it's yet critical and crucial. So we appreciate Mr. Brent Dupree. All right, next on the agenda, we have special guests, representatives of the Natchitoches Council on Aging. So we're going to ask that they will come to the microphone, and we've told them about the 5 minute. I know we typically do 3, but we wanted to, I hope you allow a little grace for them to have 5 minutes to kind of share some of the things that they want to share. Okay? Please, sir, state your first and last name in the microphone, and once you do that, you can start with your presentation.
My name is Ryan Andrews, and I represent the Natchitoches Parish Council on Aging. I'd like to make the council aware that we're currently having some funding issues with our Meals on Wheels program. There's some government funding, ARP funding, American Recovery Program, that will expire on June 30th of this year, and it's going to leave us with roughly a $39,000 deficit for our Meals on Wheels program. We currently serve meals for over 250 elders a day in this parish. We've already had to stop providing 2 meals a day and now only provide 1 meal a day. This shortage would lead us to have to either cut the number of people that we can accept into the program or to have to start turning people away that are in need. Our mandate is to try to, serve at least 8% of the parish's poorest elders. We deliver meals and provide congregate meals at our facility. As the mayor pointed out when we met with him earlier on the subject, most parishes do provide some support for the Council on Aging. Right now, all of our funding is from federal and state sources and donations. We currently have a drive going to raise some donations with the generous businesses of Natchitoches Parish, but we would ask that the council consider as they go into their budget process for 2024 and perpetually to put the Council on Aging into their hearts and their minds as they budget funds, as they search for earmarks, as we talk about grants and grant writing. All of our funds that we get are earmarked, so we can't transition funds from one silo to another. Y'all are aware of that. But if we were able to, in a simplest fact, be funded by the parish or by the city in a perpetual way, we could continue to provide these Meals on Wheels services that are very important for these residents. These folks don't have any other means to get the services that we provide. Additionally, just the thought that we've already gone from providing 2 meals a day to just 1, we've already, limited the nutritional value for these people in their day and how they're going to go about their lives. So I would ask that the council, as y'all are doing your funding for this year and following years, if they could, take some thought into the plight of the Council on Aging and help us procure some funds that will not expire, that we can depend on as we provide these services.
Council, any comments or questions for Ms. Andrews?
Yeah, I have a question. Did you state, you said your funds were cut? Is that what you said?
The American Recovery Program grant is expiring at June 30th of this year. So we derived $39,000 for Meals on Wheels from that fund, in addition to another $13,000 a year for congregate meals. So those funds are just going away. In addition, we're actually providing 14% more meals than we had planned on, just due to the number of needy people in this parish. So that shortage is only going to get worse as time goes by.
Wow.
So $52,000 is what you're saying?
Are you looking to other entities? Are you trying to partner also with the parish and asking them for?
This is our first stop at the recommendation of the mayor to come and address the board. We also have a fundraising campaign to reach out to local businesses and other government entities. We have not talked to the parish yet.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Okay. Any other comments, Council? Thank you, Mr. Andrews. And can you just introduce the other folks?
This is Mr. Kenny Thomas. He's the president of the board of executives, and Ms. Barrios is the director in the Council on Aging.
Okay.
Y'all want to stand? Just wave your hand or stand. Okay, thank you. And I know y'all do a wonderful job feeding the elderly and other things that y'all do at the Council on Aging, so.
Well, again, thank you, Ms. Andrews, for your presentation before us. As I said, we will consult with our grants team that has been very successful. We're up to the $40 million mark now, not only on the federal level, but also Ms. Gray has been adamant about looking for some things on the state level. So we're going to be looking to see what fits either on the federal or state level, okay? All right, thanks again for being here. All right, next item on the agenda, we have a proclamation, and that's read by Councilman PT.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 008 of 2024, a resolution proclaiming the month of February 2024 as African American History Month in the city of Natchitoches. Whereas the history of our great country has been written by men and women of every race, religion, and ethnic background, and African American History Month gives us the opportunity to recognize extraordinary contributions African Americans have made to the rich cultural history of our nation. We also recognize the courage and tenacity of so many hardworking African Americans whose legacies are woven into the fabric of our country. Whereas we as a country must continue to encourage and demand our children to reach for the full measure of their potential and ambitions through education. And each February we recognize African American History Month to reflect upon how far we have come as a nation and community and what challenges remain. Whereas each year, a national theme is chosen by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas the 2024 national theme is African Americans and the Arts. Whereas the fields of visual and performing arts, literature, fashion, folklore, language, film, music, culinary, and other forms of cultural expression, the African American influence has been paramount. Whereas African American artists have used art to preserve history and community memory as well as for empowerment. Now therefore, I, Mayor Ronnie Williams Jr., Mayor of the City of Natchitoches, hereby proclaim February 2024 African American History Month in the City of Natchitoches. May I so move to adopt resolution number 008 of 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. As Councilman PT said, Black History Month is the month of February. We do have an individual here who is going to accept it, Mr. Johnny Barnes. Mr. Johnny is no stranger. He is someone who I think is really good at recognizing other individuals. He does it on an annual basis during Black History Month. In fact, he has, and I want you to say more about this in just a second, Mr. Johnny, but there are individuals that he recognizes. And, you know, he never seeks any credit, never looks for any attention, any praise on himself. This is something that he does oftentimes using his own resources, his own funds to provide food. And, you know, so we really appreciate your contributions, Mr. Johnny, to the community. I know we can talk about the cleanup efforts and everything, trying to get the carts back to Super One, I think, mostly Super One. I mean, it's just a challenge. I mean, but he is an example of someone who is, you know, steadfast in the mindset of continual improvement in the community. So, Mr. Johnny, don't know if you have any words. At the very least, I want you to share with us about the program that's coming up on Thursday. But again, thank you for being here to accept this proclamation. And please, sir, please state your first and last name, and then get into it, whatever.
My name is Johnny Barnes. I'm the president of the Concerned Citizens Association. We have about 40 people, and I just signed about 20 more onto the association. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's not about me. I don't look at it like that. It's on all of us. And during Black History Month, when you research it, on both sides of that thing, a lot of people pay the cost, a very important price for freedom, education, and everything else. This year, I got some young people involved. Dominique Ben is already showing them on the TV. She started today. And we got two 13-year-olds. One is an airplane pilot, and the other is going to be a portrait. And she's going to go on to college, and they're going to do great things. And that's what I'm seeking out for now. We have 16 people that Thursday, the 15th, at my church, North Street Baptist Church, I will be awarding from the fire department, police. Look, these are people who well deserve that. Anytime you spent your life over 20, 30, 40 years of service, you deserve that. And I'm the man that God sent to pat you on the back if don't nobody else do it. And I just thank the Lord for allowing me to be able to do it. And you was right. I thank you and I appreciate you. And we got some more time to get it right. I've had people beating on my door. I'm not a turncoat. I can't jump ship in the middle of the fight or the race. I got to stick with the people I know that's in there already and help push them and encourage them that we're going to do it, but we're going to do it together. Northwestern, I always say this, they got a thing over there saying it's on us. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Johnny, Councilman P.T. and I are going to get a picture with you right here, okay? All right.
We want to thank you, Mr. Johnny, for all that you do throughout the community.
Thursday at 4 o'clock at the First Baptist Church on North Street, okay? All right, thanks again, Mr. Johnny. All right, next item on the agenda, we have,
We need a roll call vote.
oh, roll call vote, okay. Thank you. All right, roll call vote, Mr. Stacy.
Eli?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
PT?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Ms. Stacy, for catching that, and that motion carries. All right, we have 4 resolutions. The first one is read by Councilwoman Washington Eli.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 009 of 2024, resolution appointing LLDBG Citizen Participation Plan, whereas the city of Natchitoches have afforded the opportunity to apply and participate at the State of Louisiana 2022-2023 Community Development Block Grant Program and the Community Development Block Grant COVID virus HVAC program administered by the Division Administration, and whereas the state required grants to establish and assure, and now there be resolved that the city of Natchitoches that attached policy and attached citizen plan update February 2024 is hereby adopted and passed and approved adopted this day. And I move to adopt resolution number 009 of 2024.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Citizen participation plan, I think it's a standard requirement with a lot of your LCDBG programs. So this is something we've seen in other programs. It's at a point where we need to go ahead and have it before you, council, with the this is with the HVAC program. The 1.6, I think it's $1.6 million grant, is that 1.6? So that's the one where we've been having the MLK Rec Center closed down, which is very soon, right, Kevin? Very soon gonna be open to the public.
Waiting on the fire marshal.
Okay, waiting on the fire marshal. And it's been some real good work there. We know mitigating the black mold that was there, brand new HVAC system. So they've been providing some really good updates, and we've shared some updates primarily through social media as well. So, but like I said, this is just a standard part of the Louisiana Community Development Block Grant Program. Any comment here? All righty, seeing none. Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Harrington?
Yes.
PT?
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Next item on the agenda is read by Councilman Harrington.
This is Resolution 10 of 2024, which is a resolution authorizing Mayor Ronnie Williams Jr. to execute the entity state agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, whereas the city of Natchitoches was awarded $17.1 million in federal raise grant funding for a project known as Natchitoches Safe Streets Revitalization Project. And whereas the federal funding will be administered by the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, excuse me, and whereas an entity state agreement must be executed for this project between the city of Natchitoches and LADOTD. I move to adopt Resolution 10 of 2024.
Second.
Yeah, I would just note, for clarity, we do have a motion and a second. It says 17.1, but that should be 17.2. All right?
Yeah, don't take it any way.
Am I right about that, Gray? Nicole, 17.2, right? Yeah, it's 17.2. So we just verbally say, it says 17.1, but it's really 17.2, okay? This is a huge award that we got in, and we've said a lot about it, but August 2022, I think we had the second largest Louisiana award that year behind Shreveport. And this is a highly competitive grant on the federal level. I think when we got it that year, $9 billion they awarded. No, they awarded $2 billion, but it was a $9 billion request. So all of the projects together that submitted, that value to $9 billion, but they only awarded $2 billion. And we were in the $2 billion and not the other half, $7 billion or so that didn't get it. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So it's going to help us with sidewalks and lighting along Texas Street. Drainage is going to be a part of that as well, but also the bike and pedestrian plan. I think we're saying about 80% or so of the bike and pedestrian plan is going to be funded through the RAISE grant. So we're seeing progress now. It's been a long time coming. And what this basically is, as I was chatting with Nick earlier, this is just the agreement that we must execute with DOTD because they administer our federal grant funds related to transportation projects. And we're currently waiting on DOTD, so we've done everything we need to do. This is one step in it that's on the agenda tonight, but we're just, DOTD is in the process of selecting a consulting firm to do the design work and the development work of the project. And we're hoping, early summer that could be done, and the firm could go ahead and start the design work. And the design work is another process. So I know folks say, well, you got the grant, they announced the grant, well, where's the money? It takes a while. There's a backlog of work. We think this should have been done a lot sooner, but we did everything on our end, and you just kind of got to wait on the bureaucrats at the state level and the federal level. But to see it on the agenda tonight is progress nonetheless, okay? So we're excited about that. Don't know if there are comments or questions about this. Again, I think that this is a really good day for us. 17.2 mil.
I would like to make a brief comment. One, which is amazing that you and your team got this. I mean, it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's misinformation I keep hearing out there because people will say to me, well, why the city, I can't believe y'all spending this much money. Y'all are spending this much of our money on like on sidewalks and a bike and pedestrian. This is federal funds. I know a lot of us in here understand that, but this is so much misinformation about that. This is money that they were gonna pay somewhere anyways. And we, Nicole and the mayor and the team, we went and got it. It was gonna go somewhere else. It was gonna go to, wherever, Omaha, New Orleans, it's somewhere. We got it. And so I just wanted to say that. I wanted to say congratulations getting it. I mean, it's been said a lot, but I get tired of hearing the misinformation and people upset that we're spending this money on this. Taxpayers' money. Well, yes, it is taxpayers' federal spending that was going to go somewhere anyways. So you should say you're welcome. We got it to come back here.
Right. Right.
I'm just sorry. I'm on a soapbox right now because I've been hearing so much. I'm tired of hearing it.
Thank you,
So I
Eddie.
just
It
had to
needed
say
to be said.
Right.
Thank you. It needs to be said.
No, and I think really good point. And I would just add to that, like you're saying, Councilman Harrington, if we don't go after it, it doesn't stop. It doesn't mean that it's already allocated funds. and it's already budgeted funds from a federal standpoint, and so it's not going to reduce the amount that they spend on the federal level. But the other thing I would say, this particular grant, which is, not everybody could get it, this was a no-match grant for us. So this is 100%, 17.2, because some of these are 80-20. The federal or the state pay 80, and we pay 20%. But this is a 100% funded by the federal government to improve our infrastructure here in Natchitoches. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of wish people would just pay attention. I mean, we live stream the meetings and everything, but you don't even have to leave your house. But no, good point. Good point. Okay. Any other comment?
No.
All right. Seeing none, Mrs. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
Peachy.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda is read by Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. This is resolution number 011 of 2024, which is a resolution authorizing the mayor to advertise and accept bids for water treatment facility improvements, Phase 1. Bid number 0667. Whereas the city wishes to advertise for public bids for water treatment facility improvement Phase 1, bid 0667, and whereas sealed proposals shall be addressed to the City of Natchitoches, Office of the Director of Purchasing, 1400 Sabine Street. Whereas the City of Natchitoches will accept sealed and electronic bids for the project until 2 p.m. on Tuesday, March 19th at the Office of the Director of Purchasing, 1400 Sabine Street. Whereas bids will be publicly opened and read aloud at the location and time. Whereas upon receipt of proposals, the committee members consisting of Clarissa Brown Smith, Director of Finance, Ed Lee, Director of Purchasing, Matt Anderson, Utility Director, and Christopher P.T., Councilman District 3, are to review and make a recommendation of the bids received. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Natchitoches, in legal session convened that the Honorable Ronnie Williams, Jr. Mayor be and is hereby authorized, empowered, and directed to order the publication of the above bid. And I move for adoption of resolution number 011.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. We've seen resolutions such as these on various projects, whether it's something that's simple to advertise for bids for caustic soda, chlorine, to do street work, to do sewer work. This one happens to deal with a major project in our city. It's a $17 million project in total. It's tied to a grant as well because another highly competitive grant, although it didn't fully pay for it, but it paid a considerable amount, which is going to be $5 million toward this. I like to look at it, we're getting a $17 million project, with basically it's going to cost us $12 million to do it. So it's something we've been needing. We've had many town halls about. It's aging infrastructure. I think the last plant we built was in 1995, about 30 years ago. So I think we're off about, if you go historically when we've have added a plant, we're off about 9 or 10 years, if you will. So it's really good to go ahead and get this project done so that we can continue to provide abundant, we can have enough water to provide our residents. And we think it'll actually help us in some of these cold weather times when pipes freeze and, Louisiana infrastructure is not built for it. But we think the ability to produce more water is going to be helpful. So this is a good day, great day for us. It's been a long time coming. The design is done. And so now it's time to go out for bid for construction. So, it takes a little time to get things designed. So really excited about this. I don't know if we've got the Zoom set up. Is anybody on the Zoom? Was anybody there?
He's not there yet, but it's not till 6.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. It's not.
And Mayor, if
Yes, sir.
If I can add, I know you mentioned that this is something that we want, but I just want everyone to be clear that we had an order from LDH mandating that we fix the system. So the city received a series of letters, the letters I have dating back to 2018, reflecting significant deficiencies in our water system and defects that we needed to fix. Under your administration in 2023, we received a order mandating that we fix and upgrade the system. So that's when you went out for the grant for the $5 million. In addition, we had to issue bonds to get this project completed. I've been hearing a lot of misinformation about rescinding the rates, the utility rates that we voted to move forward with. Those rates were necessary for the improvement of the water system. It wasn't a choice of this administration. Based on the law for Natchitoches, which the general bond ordinance, which was voted on in 2015 and approved by that administration, which outlined if we wanted to fix the water system or repair the water system, we would have to have sufficient rates and fees in order to pay it. And the only way we could have that sufficient rates and fees to pay the debt was we had to increase it. Not by our choice, by requirements from 2015 that was signed by the former Mayor Posey in 2015. That was the law of the land. So when we said we wanted to fix it, it's not we wanted to fix it. The state said, fix it.
You gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
So we said, how do we fix it? Well, the only way we can fix it by following the rate covenant from the general bond ordinance, which is outlined as a
In the
law for
ordinance.
Natchitoches. So you all were only following what y'all
Had
had
to
to
do.
do based on what was outlined. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's clear on that, that it was mandated by a previous law back in 2015, signed by the former mayor.
Thank you, Alex, for making that comment, because you're right, that false information is out there to people. They're being fooled, saying that we raised the rates for, other reasons. And so thank you for letting them know that the former administration did not follow through with what they were supposed to follow through with. And we're doing what's mandated that we have to do. And so,
Yeah, there was no improvement
No improvement.
prior to 2018. There was
Right.
several letters from 2018 up into 2023.
up into 2023.
The 2023 letter from LDH said, you don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We're not asking y'all anymore. Do it. And prior to that, the mayor, the grant team was already seeking funding for the water system before we received the mandate. So it just worked out perfectly that this council, this mayor was working to improve the water system. When we received the mandate, it all worked hand in hand. But for the increase in the rates, we had to. That's what the rate covenant said from the previous laws. And also, if a person decided down the road, for argument's sake, if we want to rescind the system, rescind those utility rates, they subject themselves to a lot of litigation, lawsuits from bondholders, because we covenant that we would be able to pay our
Pay the
debt and be able to
bonds.
show it on our books that we have that revenue.
right.
So,
And
Also,
also, I'm sorry, go ahead, you.
It'll put us at risk of losing the $5 million also? If you're not able to show that you can generate that kind of money?
you have to show, in order to secure debt to pay for a $17 million project, you have to show that you have the revenue to pay for it. Just like if you're at home, you making X amount of dollars, they're not gonna let you borrow money to buy a house unless you can show you can pay for it. And in this law that was written in 2015 says that, don't issue any debt unless you can show that you can pay for it. And that's what we did, basically follow that, and was mandated by the state to improve the system and fix it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and Councilman PT is, he's referencing specifically the water sector stipulation that in order to keep the grant, you had to show, just what Alex is saying, that you could, pay for the rest of the project. So, yeah, correct. So Alex, and I thank you for that clarity. I think that was well stated. Namdi is here, so I don't know if you want to lead that with what Namdi's going to say. He's on Zoom.
Nam, you there?
Well, he's muted now.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Namdi, can you hear us?
I just want to add while we're waiting for Namdi, I think this administration has done a wonderful job in the time that we've been in office of doing things that has been neglected over the years. And so we're doing what we have to do this time.
And while he's working on that, and also the Natchitoches Police Department, police officers and first responders,
It was paid.
raises
Raises,
were attached to
right.
that. So rescinding that also means facing
Taking money.
litigation with bondholders if we're not able to show that we can pay the debt. And also, you're taking raises away from police officers and first responders.
Well, very much needed,
Which-
very much needed throughout this
And could
city.
you-
Do a wonderful job because they're there first on the scene when something happened.
And how
so-
long has they been paid that small amount? How, that's been for, you know, I think Chief can answer that question. How long was the fire department, the police departments paid that small amount of money? How many years they was like that for how many years?
I guess the question is, when was the last raise?
2018, I think is something y'all said.
Yes, sir. It was in 2018, they did a slight adjustment to increase the pay, but that put us that moved us from $12 to $13 an hour, which currently places like Alexandria, they're at 18. We lost a few people there. Fire department experiences the same thing where we try to keep qualified, experienced officers who know the community that they serve. Having a consistent turnover in personnel who get trained and picked up by the state police or other agencies that pay more, it has a detrimental effect on our ability to serve the community. Us in tandem trying to pick up new applicants. It takes 17 weeks to send someone to a police academy and get them certified. But just because they're getting certified for the 17 weeks that they've gone to school, we know you don't experience or learn a trade unless you're doing it. And unfortunately, on-the-job training in law enforcement has to be done the right way. And if it's 2 years, roughly gets you to a point where you can have a rookie pretty much know the streets, know what they're doing, be confident in their patrol strategies, and knowing people well enough so that they can help prevent things and also get information and have that confidence in the community members that they're serving because they've seen them long enough. We say it all the time, we have the Crime Stoppers, we have other things that we didn't used to have in the past that people have at their disposal now, but at the same time, they still want to know and trust law enforcement. We have seasoned officers who've been here for years that people will walk up and say, hey, this is the person y'all need to look at. But we don't have that, and, you know, from experience, I know that people aren't, nowadays, especially with the criminal element, the violent offenders out there that take advantage of people not standing up in their communities, and as a whole, as a complete unit, instead of just one individual standing there alone and not having the support of their other neighbors and community, that creates a problem. Back in the days where we had neighborhoods where you had people who've lived there for 30 years, if we had a crime take place, it was easy to solve because everybody was calling saying, hey, it was so-and-so. Now, no one sees anything. We've had to employ what the strategy has been recommended from all the way from the federal, all the way down to local levels. You've got to do more with less, and so you implement technologies. Cameras are a tremendous help. Other technology, LPRs, other things that we use to capture information that we didn't necessarily have because we don't have as many boots on the ground anymore. That's very useful because it helps us solve those crimes, and we always hear the streets know. Nowadays, we have to collect all the evidence because what you have, I call it a CSI effect. You see TV, so you believe that's how technology works. When it takes months to years to get DNA reports back, we collect everything that we do. If there's a shooting and there's casings, or if there's rounds in a vehicle or a structure, we collect those because now, because we implement technology, we're able to get a hit. We get hits every day from rounds or casings that have been picked up over time. that come back to weapons from Houston, Dallas, Shreveport, New Orleans. It's not a Natchitoches thing. It's not, we see recently at a church, they had an individual walk up
Yep.
who was violent. And we have no control over that. All we can do is prepare for the worst. So in doing that, we want to try to attract candidates. We've been doing well. At one point in time in my administration there at the police department, we were over 14 officers down. Now we're getting close to having just 3 positions left. Once we have the last few people that are signing up, and we've been working on trying to put a footprint out there. We have people who within the community.
Well, and let me say this, Chief, because I think we just got NAMD.
Okay.
You got NAMD? Okay, I want to say, because Chief is saying something. NAMD's in the conference, so we want to let him say what he's going to say. But Chief just said we were 14 down. Now we're hoping that we're getting close to just 3 down.
Almost full capacity.
That means you're almost full capacity. I think fire department, we're just about 100%. Maybe it's 90, what are you, like 94, 6% capacity?
We just hired ours today, so at the moment, we're at 99%.
99%. So that's what you get for that. When you pay them better, you have more who are here, willing to work here, and that's just good for the overall community, especially as we think about the criminal element. We need more officers out there to patrol. But thank you, both chiefs, for interjecting. Mr. Namdi Thompson, you're here. Alex, you're going to drive some questions to Namdi or something?
Nam, you there?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay. I was explaining to everyone about the rate covenant, and I'm just going to read one little section, and you can kind of explain it to them a little what it means. And this is the rate covenant from the previous year. The city, through the governing authority, hereby covenants to fix, establish, and maintain such rates and collect such fees, rates, and other charges sufficient to pay the necessary expenses of administering, operating, and maintaining the system each year. Can you explain to them about the 125% in the rate covenant?
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Namdi Thompson with Government Consultants. Our firm served as municipal advisor on the last bond issue. What Alex just read was the rate covenant that was not only inside this last bond issue, but it has been in your bond issue since the general bond ordinance, I think, was done in 13, if not earlier than that.
15.
15, thank you. So that was the rate covenant that's listed inside the general bond ordinance that the city council and the city passed in 2015. That general bond ordinance governs all utility revenue bonds, whether you do water bonds, sewer bonds, or electricity bonds. Anytime you issue any bond issue for any of those services, you have to follow that bond ordinance that was voted for and passed in 2015. What that clause or what that phrase that Mr. Washington just read, it forces the city council to raise rates such that whatever revenues you bring in, minus your normal O&M expenses, salaries, all that good stuff, all that, and leaves a net revenue line, that has to be 125% of whatever your annual bond payments are. And so when we issued this bond deal that was done last year, we took into account of what you guys have been bringing into the utility revenue department for the last 4 or 5 years, minus your average expenses for the last 4 or 5 years, and rates were set such that you had 125% of your annual debt service payment. And so anytime, again, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but anytime that you issue revenue bonds for the utility system, you have to follow that. That's what you promised all the bondholders whenever you issue debt that you would do. And so you followed that on your bonds with DEQ, you followed it, a refunding that you did about 2 years ago, and then you followed it with this one as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Namdi, for jumping on, okay?
You're welcome. And if anybody has any questions, as I said, Mayor, you guys give me a call anytime.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, this is about Permission to advertise. Any other comment here? Permission to advertise for our water treatment plant number 4 construction. All right, seeing none, Mr. Stacy, roll call vote.
Eli,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Harrington,
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Really great day for us. All right. Last item on the agenda is read by Councilwoman at-large Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. This is resolution number 012 of 2024, which is a resolution naming the gym located in the MLK Recreation Center, the Johnny Winston Senior Gym, in honor of his many years of service to the citizens of the city of Natchitoches and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Whereas John E. Winston Sr. has spent his adult life serving the citizens of the city of Natchitoches in many different capacities, and whereas further, John E. Winston Sr. has served as an educator and administrator in both the Natchitoches Parish School System and Northwestern State University, and whereas further, John E. Winston Sr. spent many years in the Natchitoches Parish School System in many different roles, culminating in service as a principal and also worked as an educator in secondary education, serving as vice president of the University Affairs at Northwestern State University. And whereas further, in addition to his service as an educator, John E. Winston Sr. has invested much of his time in service to civic organizations, including the Outpatient Medical Center, the Boys and Girls Club of Natchitoches, and the Natchitoches Parish Voters and Civic League, of which he is a past president. And whereas further, John E. Winston Sr. also served the city of Natchitoches as a councilman for 24 years, and it was during this service that he helped develop the plan for and complete the MLK Community Center. And whereas further, in honor of his service to the city of Natchitoches and its citizens, the City Council of the city of Natchitoches desires to name the gym located in the MLK Recreation Center the John E. Winston Senior Gym. And now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches in due legal and regular session convened that the many years of service by John E. Winston Sr. to the City of Natchitoches and its citizens be recognized. Be it further resolved that in recognition of the many years of service, of civic service that John E. Winston Sr. has provided to the city and its citizens, that the gym located in the MLK Recreation Center be named the John E. Winston Senior Gym. Be it further resolved that all resolutions of party of being conflict are repealed. Thus done and resolved by the City Council of the City of Natchitoches, Louisiana. And may I move for adoption of resolution number 012 of 2024.
A second.
Motion made and seconded. I think this is pretty straightforward resolution. As Councilwoman at-large Smith has laid out the many accomplishments of Mr. John, and that E, y'all, is Earl, if you wanted to know. All right. I have a habit of saying people's whole name. And if I know your nickname, I might share that with everybody too, okay? All right, but Mr. John E. Winston, I mean, from the Natchitoches Parish School System, its principal, to Northwestern State, the Outpatient Medical Center, 24 years, I think, serving on this council. So a lot of great achievements. Of course, he was one of the ones influential. And I was looking today, there's an article dating back to the 90s when the MLK Rec Center was breaking ground. I wanted to share that article, but I'll see, Council, if I can get my hands on it and share it with everybody. But it's a really good article that does give credit to Mr. Winston and his efforts to see the construction of the MLK Recreation Center. We do have Mr. Winston here today, and I want to invite you to the podium, sir. I don't know if there's any words you'd like to say, and I know you know this routine. State your first and last name, but share with us whatever remarks you have.
I'd like to say good evening to everyone. Mayor, City Council, thank you for this honor. I appreciate it. I wanted to tell you about how this came about, the Martin Luther King Center. That was my project. I forget what year it was, but a lot of people were involved at that time in making this happen. And so I don't want to take the credit, but I was the lead person to put this thing together. In fact, the city of Natchitoches put up $600,000. We were able to raise that money here locally, and through my relationship with our then Senator, Don Kelly, we were able to get him to introduce a bill in the state legislature for $1.2 million to go along with that $600,000. And it took us several years, took me really, because I was working that with the senator before he retired. And finally, we got it through the Senate, but we were having trouble in the House. And so that next year, after Senator Kelly retired and Senator Mike Smith came on board, we were able to get to Representative Jimmy Long to get him to champion that bill in the House. And so we ended up getting the Senate to approve it, the 1.2, and then the House finally to approve it through Representative Jimmy Long's help. And that's how and then Senator Mike Smith was able to get the Senate to redo that in the Senate, and finally, so we got it done.
Wow.
But it was about a 5-year project.
Wow.
That we worked on that to get that done. Willard Jones from the Housing Authority was able to get the Housing Authority to put up $50,000. I wanted to be sure that was noted. They didn't have to do it. They were just doing to trying to help. And the city council put up that $600,000. Yeah, so that's how that happened. And I'm just thankful again that you all saw fit to do what you're doing tonight. Thank you.
Well, look, it's well deserved, and like we said, your resume speaks for itself. So
Yes, sir.
we appreciate your many accomplishments, and this is something very small in the grand scheme of, your great service to the city of Natchitoches. All right. Any comments or questions for Mr. Winston, Council?
I just think,
That was good.
like you said, well-deserved, and we thank you for your many years of service and your work here in Natchitoches, Mr. Winston.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I remember the first day when they opened up that gym, boy, we were so happy to get in there. And that first team that they put together, we had Coach Nikita Sauer, and I was a part of that. We was called the MLK All-Stars.
Yep.
And I played on that first team. And so I had the opportunity to break that gym in, but thank you for the history lesson.
All right. and I want to say this. Former Mayor Joe Sampate, who was then the mayor, gave me what he did, and I still have it. He went around and got all of the contractors, all of the people that were responsible for building the center to sign a basketball and presented that basketball to me. And I still have that basketball, and as long as I live, I'm going to have it. And I just wanted to give you that little bit of history too, brother.
That's cool. That's cool.
Mayor, I just want to say the next time we have the basketball game where y'all are playing each other, remember, Mr. Winston come out and play with y'all, bring his basketball.
I don't think so.
But I will say, we don't have it on the calendar. The center's been shut down for construction for about how long, Kevin? Has it been 2 years yet?
Off and on, at least, yes.
Okay, yeah, so, but we plan on having a big grand reopening and, you know.
Ribbon cutting.
It's gonna be nice, so we'll get it on the calendar, maybe sometime early summer. But another thing I wanna say, just a quick note, you mentioned the 1.2 and then the 600,000. And Kevin and I talked about the other day, it certainly would cost a whole lot more today to build that building. You know, we don't know, maybe $4 or $5 million is what it's worth. So, good work for the community, great work for the community.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, I think I'll tell you what, before, any other comment? All right, let's roll call vote, Mr. Stacy, and then we'll get a picture with you. Councilwoman at large and I.
Eli.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Harrington.
Yes.
PT.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Okay, let's get you this, sir. All right, well deserved. Okay, so we have a few announcements, with the first being our next meeting is on the 26th of February. And we also just download the Go Natchitoches app as we're getting ready to go into spring, events going on, you know, a lot of events going on, so make sure you download that app. Also, Regroup. We put out, I think, a message today on Regroup about a road closure. Did we do that? So we've got a couple road closures happening related to the street work, and you just want to have that app is really, really important. Do we have any more? Oh, and you're saying too, Monday, the 19th, which is next Monday, we're closed for President's Day. All right, so we'll be closed for that. Okay. All right, I think there's another. Is that other something? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the other way. See. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. celebration is going to be February the 17th. You remember when it was originally held, there was some inclement weather. So it's been rescheduled for the 17th, a Saturday at 11 a.m. So it's going to be at the MLK Triangle. Hopefully folks can make it. We certainly want to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It means so much, not only to African Americans, but I would say to all of America. So that's happening. Put that down on your calendar. All right, I think there's a couple more announcements that we have. Okay, documentary premiere, Tracks of Unity, the Texas and Pacific Railway Depot story. And this is going to be on the 17th as well, that Saturday. Open houses from 6 to 8. And then they got remarks and showing at 6:30. So really just a great staple in our community. Many people have tried for a long time to rehab it, bring it back to use. And so that's finally has happened. So they're having one of their early events on the 17th. So hopefully people will make it out to that. Okay, 19th century African American horsemen, jockeys. This is taking place at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And it's going to be on Saturday the 24th at 2 p.m. And it's free and open to the public. You see Mr. Evan Shields is going to lead this conversation. So that should be very exciting to attend. Flavor of Louisiana, one of the most well-attended events at NSU, one of their top events throughout the year, March 15th at 6 p.m. So you definitely want to get your tickets. It's a who's who of not only Natchitoches folks, but just NSU alumni, and it's a really, really good event. So again, March 15th, make sure we attend that. Steel Magnolia Run, all right, that's put on by NRMC on the 16th, from 6:45 to 12 p.m. So that's going to be on the Natchitoches Riverbank, and it's a fun deal. So we have some runners. I know Steve and Stacy usually represent us, but there may be some others as well who want to participate. The 16th as well, the annual St. Patrick's Day pub crawl. There's another event that's in the works, and we'll have more about that later on. But the pub crawl is an annual deal, and it's happening in historic Natchitoches from 4 to 10 p.m. And you can get your tickets at crawlthebricks.com. So that is a chamber-sponsored event, particularly by the Natchitoches Young Professionals. That's it? Okay, good. A lot of announcements to announce to you. All right, at this time, council, we will hear a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening, folks. All right.
Thursday, see.